In our previous video, we discussed how links from other websites are important for your SEO. And in today's video, we're going to talk about ideal placements of links on the page, anchor text, and the types of sites that you want to be getting links from. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockedown SEO. Before we get into today's topic, if you can give this a thumb up, that will help YouTube's algorithm show this video to more people, and I'd appreciate it. But getting into today's topic, which is the placement of links on a website. Most of the time, what you're going for is getting a link in the body of content from another website in what we call the main content of the page, or what Google defines as the main content of a page. Google talks about main content and secondary content of a page in their quality rater guidelines. Quality raters are human beings that evaluate search results and then give that feedback to the Google engineers. You go and take that information and put it into the daily algorithm tweaks to try and get the Google ranking algorithm to pick what a human being would pick based on actual user feedback. But when it comes to links, what you're looking for is you're looking to earn links in the main content of a website that is closely related to yours, that has trust and authority in the eyes of Google's ranking algorithm. So examples of this would be getting a link from the main body of a blog article. The second, kind of a secondary spot, would be in the author bio. As we've discussed previously, the best way to do that is to write informational content that is helpful and provides a great resource. A great example of this would be Wikipedia, whose articles seem to be linked as references oftentimes. Or another way that you could think about this is if your website or your blog becomes a trusted resource for other people in your industry, and you find that people are linking to your web pages or your blog articles, then that's a good sign that you're on the right track as far as creating content. Now, those links from industry sites are going to be more valuable than links from websites that are not related to your industry. But websites within your industry seem to be safe. Google seems to put a higher weight on those than websites that have a domain authority that is been pumped up by artificial means. Domain authority and all of those terms are things that Google does not use. Those are terms that are invented by the various SEO tools, the URL score, or the domain authority, trust flow, citation flow. These are all terms that are used by various SEO tools. They each have their proprietary terms, but it's a way to basically evaluate the potential strength of a domain. The problem is that some of these domains are artificially inflated, but Google does seem to trust websites that are within your particular industry based on the content of those sites and other websites that link to that one. All right, so if you cannot earn these links from other people in your industry that are just doing these links because your content is so awesome, then the other thing that you can do is get a sponsored link. Sponsoring things like conferences, or buying a media kit, or getting a listing on a industry website. Maybe it's something that you pay for, where your company has a profile on a website. In other types of industries, maybe there's a industry event that's taking place and people are soliciting sponsors, and they say, we'll give you a link back to your website. Trade shows often link back to your website. These are also very useful because they're a sort of proof that you are involved within your industry. These also count as industry sites, and these can also be extremely useful as far as links, provided that they're permanent links and that they're not going to go away. Investing in those things is kind of a side benefit of going to the trade show or the industry event. Sometimes you might have a sponsored link in the sidebar of a site. That can be a little bit valuable. Usually the sidebar is considered secondary content. The secondary content would be anything away from the main body of the page. You know, another thing too, every once in a while you'll see footer links. Usually this happens when a single company or entity has a network of sites. They might want to interlink between their own properties, and you might see a site-wide footer link. Generally, Google treats a site-wide link that appears in the footer or the sidebar of a site as a single link. You don't get extra credit for it being on all these additional pages. It's basically considered a single link. A lot of people have theorized in the past that Google places extra weight on a link if it's what we call above the fold, meaning it appears in the page when the browser is first opened, or it's near the top of the page, it's near the top of the content, and that link might be weighted less if it's down at the bottom of the content. Those links can still be valuable. My opinion on this is you want to get a link within the main part of content from an industry source or a trusted news source like a prestigious news organization. A site like Forbes that has been notorious in the past for having authors sell links, maybe not so much. Google seems to downgrade those types of links on an individual basis, but ones where the editorial discretion of the author or the website has a degree of integrity, those links seem to be the best when it comes to just general news. What about press releases? Okay, press release links. Let's say that you construct a press release and you have this released on 100 or so sites, but the content's basically the same, and you might have a link back to your site in the body of that. These can be useful, but generally they're a lot less useful than the links that you would earn from your content. For all intensive purposes, they do count. They don't have equal strength to these editorial links. Let's say if somebody's writing a blog post or they're writing a resource page and they link to your site. These press release links are going to be less valuable. They can be a little useful, but they're not the types of links that you should generally be building your whole link building strategy upon. Create a library of content, do manual outreach, and then also, you know, just spread the word, build your brand, earn links through your content and through your presence within your industry. That's generally the best way to go. Okay, so let's talk about anchor text for a minute. Now, anchor text are the words within a hyperlink from one site to another, or internally on your own site, what we call internal links. When you link to another page on your site, that's called an internal link. The words that are within that link are the anchor text. Now, if you have an image link, like if you're linking an image to another page, like if you click on this image, it goes to this page. The anchor text within that is the alt attribute text, the alternative text that appears in the HTML that screen readers pick up. If there's no alternative text, then it is an empty link and there is no anchor text. But if alternative text, alt attribute text is being output in the HTML, then that is the anchor text. Anchor text gives a clue to Google about the context of this link as it's going from, you know, this page to this page. Generally speaking, if you're doing internal links, you can use keyword anchors. If you're building links or you're getting people to build links on a site, that can be okay in, let's say, in the context of an article or a resource page. If people are using keywords to link back to your site, that's okay. If you have a directory listing, or if you're listed on your Chamber of Commerce, or if you are listed on some industry directory, generally you want to have what's called a domain link, which is basically the text is the actual URL of your site or the URL of the page that you're linking to, or it's some generic text like website. That is a natural looking link in Google's eyes. Now, if Google sees that you have a whole bunch of links a disproportionate amount of links that are keyword rich. They're basically all keywords, and you don't have links that are just your normal domain. And it's coming from a whole bunch of questionable sites that might be part of a link scheme. Then that can be a red flag to algorithmically devalue some of those links. Generally, this is not common unless you were going out of your way to buy links from a link reseller, or if you're doing it yourself by having a whole link scheme going yourself. Like I said, it's not common, not something that you should generally worry about. But yes, the anchor text does give clues about the type of site that is being linked to, or the page that's being linked to, specifically what it's about. To sum it up, link building, it's a multifaceted thing. You can't effectively build links at scale unless you have a really rich content library. You're going to see this in all the elite organizations, enterprise level companies. They invest a lot into having great content libraries. They tend to earn a lot of links. They might be doing some manual link outreach as well. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockedown SEO. If you enjoyed this video, if you got any value at all out of this, give it a thumb up. We'll be publishing another video next week. That's all I have for now. Until next time, peace.